If there's one thing you can learn from the Diddy trial, it's that meat beating and severe mental illness isn't exactly a great combination, especially when they're the two most notable traits of your country's leader. Christian VII was born in 1749 as the Crown Prince of Denmark with great expectations, even having an opera written about him where all the Olympian gods gather around to talk about who should protect him. Alright guys, who wants to protect this kid? Despite showing potential as a child, after his mom died, he was denied affection from his father and stepmother as they much preferred his stepbrother Frederick over him. And all this wasn't helped by the fact that his tutor Count Christian Ditlev Frederick Reventlow, I think I did that right, would beat him severely to the extent that one time he was found foaming at the mouth on the floor. But luckily for Christian, in 1766, his father died of edema, making him king of Denmark at the very mature age of 16. Great, now that he's king, everything will be sunshine and rainbows, right? Well, by this time, Christian had already shown signs of being a bit neurospicy. I can't believe I just said that. And things were only going downhill from here. His less egregious habits included leapfrogging over people that bowed to him, putting pins on his grandmother's throne to make her jump, and randomly slapping people in the face who were talking to him. You know, just a little bit of assault and battery here and there. But his more insane actions include watching public executions for fun and staging mock executions with his servants, as one does, roaming the streets with a spike club and a gang of boys, assaulting people and businesses alike, having his own personal torture rack built where he had one of his officials stretch and flog him, burning his flesh, and then pouring salt into the wounds to show how much of a man he was, and beating his meat so much that doctors feared for his health, thinking that it would make him infertile, affect his ability to learn, and impact his emotional health. Yeah, I wonder where they got that idea from. Like any king, Charles needed to find a queen, and a queen he found his 15-year-old first cousin, Caroline Matilda of Great Britain in Hanover. As she left to get married to his 17-year-old king, she, quote, left England in tears to a marriage that, as you could imagine, was quite miserable, with Christian cheating on her with several women and only reluctantly visiting her. It got so bad, in fact, that part of the royal court ended up thinking he was gay, and Christian's tutor ended up having to write Caroline love letters in Christian's name to try and get the marriage to somehow lead to a pregnancy, which actually managed to work, as Caroline ended up giving birth to their son Frederick VI in 1768. Now as time went on, Christian's mental state devolved further and further. He had hallucinations and showed signs of bipolar disorder, often going from a wild excitement to deep depression. Highlights include asking his physician, Johann Friedrich Struensee, to check under his bed for assassins, banging his head against the wall until he bled, waking up one morning and just straight up declaring he killed a bunch of people, running around and destroying furniture when excited, sometimes throwing it through windows, and telling his tutor, quote, I am confused, and quote, there's a noise in my head. Due to Christian's declining mental everything, his physician Struensee practically ruled the entire country, acting as king, including doing the king's job of banging his wife, even being the believed father of the queen's second child, Princess Louise Auguste. And how does Struensee consolidate so much control over an entire country, you ask? Well, it went a little something like this. Hey buddy, I have a bunch of documents and stuff I need you to sign. Now basically running the country, Struensee implemented a lot of Enlightenment reforms. Some big ones include the abolition of torture, making bribery illegal, and enacting free press. Some real crazy stuff, I know. But despite being initially liked, all these reforms and the fact that Struensee decided to make the official government language German caused him to get a lot of enemies, which wasn't helped by the recently freed press, which spewed anti-Struensee sentiment. So in 1772, while Struensee and Caroline were at a ball together, Christian's stepmother with a group of co-conspirators broke into Christian's bedroom and bullied the by now mentally imbecile king into signing the arrest orders of Struensee and Caroline. After being imprisoned, chained to a wall and tortured, Struensee confessed his affair with the queen and was executed by having his right hand chopped off, his body, quote, broken on the wheel, being quartered, and then finally beheaded. Overkill, damn. And despite Christian's stepmom really wanting to kill Caroline, Caroline only got imprisoned for bit, then exiled to Hanover, where she died 3 years later at the ripe old age of 23. Despite still officially ruling Denmark, Christian's stepmother was the one truly in charge until 1784 when his son became regent, with Christian still being king. During this time, servants were ordered not to obey his orders, and he sometimes was seen from a window of his palace making faces at passerbys. Like, imagine you're walking down the street one day and you see Donald Trump making faces at you from the White House. But sadly, our Gooner King's story ends in 1808 when Christian died of a stroke at the age of 59. But it's rumored he died of shock when seeing Spanish troops enter the city of Struensee during the Napoleonic Wars, you know, as one does. So, what do we end up learning today, students? Because I honestly learned nothing. But do you know where you can learn something? On Skillshare. Oh, wait, we don't have any sponsors because this is the first video of my channel. So if you really like this video, feel free to like, subscribe, and get ready for more to come.